Hello, and welcome back to the News Hour with me, your host, William Bart. And we've got this from Real Clear Politics. The Secret Service whistleblowers, acting chief cuts security assets. And then later, I search inside job on X. Let's jump into it. Before I start, please like this if you like it. Smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, you're not a subscriber. I see at least 60% of my views are from non-subscribers. Please subscribe and tick the bell for more. So, just days after Secret Service Acting Director Ronald Rowe denied playing a direct role in rejecting repeated requests for added security measures and assets for former President Trump, whistleblowers have come forward refuting those claims and blaming Rowe for some of the agency's security failures that led to the July 13th assassination attempt that nearly killed Trump and left rally-goer Corey Compertor dead and 2 others wounded. Other whistleblowers are coming forward citing more systemic problems with the Secret Service, the vaunted agency whose primary job is to protect presidents, vice presidents, and former presidents and their families. Those deep-seated long-term problems include nepotism and other non-merit-based favoritism, lowering standards and cutting corners in hiring, including failure to pass polygraph tests and accepting past hard drug use, retaliation for voicing security and other concerns, as well as uneven disciplinary action. Senator Josh Hawley on Thursday sent a letter to Rowe citing disturbing information from at least one whistleblower, citing Secret Service planning failures for the Butler, Pennsylvania campaign event and your own involvement. I'm sorry. It's every day with these dogs. They like barking at everything. They're very vigilant, as I've said before. So, Hawley said he had received detailed information that Rowe personally directed significant cuts to the Counter-Surveillance Division, a department that performs threat assessment evaluations of event sites before the events occur, and did not perform its typical evaluation of the Butler site and was not present that day. This is significant because CSD's duties include evaluating potential security threats outside the security perimeter, Hawley wrote, adding that a CSD's threat assessment likely would have provided more measures to protect the rooftop of the American Glass Research Building, where shooter Thomas... not going to say his name. Nope, not going to say his name. That guy perched and opened fire on Trump and the crowd. The whistleblower claims that if personnel from the CSD had been present at the rally, the gunman would have been handcuffed in the parking lot after being spotted with a rangefinder. Hawley continued. You acknowledged in your Senate testimony that the American Glass Research Complex should have been included in the security perimeter for the Butler event. The unnamed whistleblower further alleged that Rowe personally directed significant cuts to the CSD, including reducing the division's manpower by 20%, Hawley asserted. You did not mention this in your Senate testimony when asked directly to explain manpower reductions. Rowe specifically denied being involved in any decisions that rejected requests for adding security for Trump over the course of 2 years, and disputed accusations that he was involved in decision-making limiting the assignment of counter-sniper teams to any event not in driving distance to D.C. Real Clear Politics reported on those 2 accusations earlier this week, citing sources within the Secret Service community. Whistleblowers also accused Secret Service leaders and managers of retaliating against individuals who expressed concerns about the security of Trump's events. The flurry of anonymous accusations includes an assertion that after an event with a Trump golf tournament in August of last year, Secret Service personnel present expressed serious concern that the agency's reliance on local law enforcement was not adequate to meet security needs because these local officers were not properly trained and otherwise prepared to carry out the tasks delegated to them. Further, Secret Service personnel expressed alarm that individuals were admitted to the event without vetting, Hawley wrote. The whistleblower alleges that those who raised such concerns were retaliated against. The Missouri Republican who sits on the Judiciary in the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committees asked Rowe to produce a series of documents during his time as deputy director. During Rowe's first appearance before a joint hearing of both of those panels on Tuesday, Hawley was one of the acting director's harshest critics. He and Rowe got into a shouting match over the agency's failure to hire anyone in the wake of the assassination attempt against Trump. The biggest Secret Service security failure since former President Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981. Hawley pressed Rowe on the failure to surveil the rooftop where shooter, that guy, opened fire on Trump and the crowd. You're asking me, Senator, to completely make a rush judgment about somebody failing. I acknowledge this was a failure, Rowe retorted during the questioning. Is it not prima facie that somebody has failed? The former president was shot, Hawley responded. Rowe said he has lost sleep over the handling of the assassination attempt since the incident occurred, and assured Hawley that he would hold people accountable with integrity and not rush to judgment. Then fire somebody to hold them accountable, Hawley shouted. But Rowe insisted that he needed to allow the FBI investigation to continue in order to gather all the facts and determine culpability. And I will do so with integrity and not rush to judgment and put people unfairly persecuted. Rowe countered, raising his voice. Oh, the old, we investigated ourselves and found no culpability shtick. I love those three-letter agencies. So the senator then moved on to grilling Rowe on reports that the agency denied repeated requests for additional security from agents charged with protecting Trump and others. Some of those requests were made in writing. Several sources in the Secret Service community tell RCP the repeated rejections for more security assets for Trump included requests for additional magnetometers, more agents to screen attendees at large rallies and outdoor events, as well as counter-snipers and counter-surveillance and other specialty teams. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas on July 15th called those reports unequivocally false, but Secret Service officials have since acknowledged that some denials may have occurred in certain circumstances over the last 2 years, although not for the July 13th Butler rally. After categorically denying the denials had occurred, Secret Service spokesman Anthony Guglielmi, is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. Maybe somebody can help me with that. 4 days later told the Washington Post that some denials may have occurred and was reviewing documentation to understand the specific interactions better. Under Hawley's harsh grilling, Rowe also denied RCP's reports that he was directly involved in the decision-making for the rejections of extra security for Trump. Hawley last week cited whistleblowers' disclosures to his office in asserting that local law enforcement officers were assigned to the rooftop where that guy fired 8 bullets but failed to remain on the metal roof because of the hot temperatures in Butler that day. And I think I brought this up before. The Secret Service agents are averse to heat, it seems. Heat exceeding, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Rowe testified that he didn't know if the Secret Service had assigned anyone to the roof that day and was still trying to determine that, but the local police officers had posted up inside the building. Other whistleblowers have taken legal action against the agency for what they describe as a culture of fear, favoritism, and unfair retribution. Several whistleblowers and sources within the Secret Service community have come forward to Real Clear Politics in the wake of the assassination attempt against Trump to share complaints that they were unfairly retaliated against for raising complaints about managers not following Secret Service protocols or making security decisions that would harm those the agency is tasked to protect. In one case, a Secret Service whistleblower disclosed to his chain of command that a Secret Service manager whose son, a so-called legacy applicant, had failed a polygraph examination as part of his hiring process, discussed with the whistleblower's supervisor his desire that the polygraph be retested without cause, a violation of agency protocol. The special agent, who requested anonymity out of fear for his safety, has complained that he was retaliated against for those internal polygraph disclosures, that agency managers reprimanded him for asking polygraph questions to demonstrate whether a candidate had provided false information about drug use on the application for a security clearance, known as a Standard Form 86 or SF-86. and I've signed a few of those in my lifetime. At one point, that disciplinary action included a suspension of his polygraph examiner duties pending additional counseling. I guess additional counseling. They must have written it wrong. On the form itself, not here. These people must be specifically quoting them. According to a complaint the special agent filed with the U.S. Office of Special Counsel, an independent federal investigative prosecutorial agency that operates as a secure channel for employee whistleblowing. The special agent has also accused agency leaders of failing to consider him for certain assignments, with at least one supervisory citing his history of outspoken complaints about favoritism in managers, failure to follow polygraph protocols. That case is pending before the U.S. Merit Systems Protection Board, an independent quasi-judicial agency created to protect promotions and discipline against partisan political activity and other prohibited personnel practices. The board recently agreed that the case has enough merits to proceed to a hearing. That whistleblower's case helps shed light on the Secret Service's lowering of hiring standards for applicants, as the agency has struggled with a manpower shortage over the last decade, as well as low employee morale. In recent years, the Secret Service has ranked either dead last or near the bottom of a government employee survey of job satisfaction conducted annually by the Nonpartisan Partnership for Public Service. The agency's most recent rankings for 2023 is near the bottom at number 375 out of 432 agencies. Wow, I didn't know we had that many agencies. In an effort to meet staffing goals, the agency has repeatedly changed its standards for past drug use, disqualifying applicants over the last 7 years. LSD and crack cocaine Let me say that again. LSD and crack cocaine use no longer carry a lifetime ban, and candidates could have habitually used marijuana and still be eligible for hire if they haven't used the substance within the last year. Still, a knowing and willful false statement on an SF-86 about drug use or other claims can disqualify a potential hire. An independent panel appointed by the Department of Homeland Security in 2014 found more than half of the applicants fail the polygraph and are unable to receive the necessary security clearances. To become special agents and uniform division officers, that's the end of the sentence. Inflections. The Secret Service's Security Clearance Division director told House investigators at the time that in response to the high rate of polygraph failures, agency leaders had pushed to cut corners and hire, which ultimately hurt the elite agency's ability to minimize national security risks. A separate source within the Secret Service community complained that under the leadership of former agency director Kimberly Cheadle, aka Pepsi Lady, who resigned amid bipartisan criticism after her July 21st congressional testimony, management's cost-cutting efforts included halting the required monthly shooting practice. It's absolutely insane that we stop shooting every month, the source told RCP. I was consistently receiving emails from training managers that my new special agents needed remedial instruction because they couldn't qualify. Empower Oversight Whistleblowers and Research, a nonprofit legal organization that assists whistleblowers in documenting and reporting government corruption, is representing the retired special agent who complained about improper polygraph retesting in his retaliation case against the agency. Empower Oversight President Tristan Levitt is an attorney who previously worked at the U.S. Merit Systems Protection Board and for the House Oversight Committee, as well as Iowa GOP Senator Chuck Grassley, a longtime champion for whistleblowers. Levitt played a key role in the House Oversight Panel's previous efforts to reform the Secret Service in 2014, after a prostitution scandal involving several Secret Service agents in Colombia erupted into public view, and a series of fence jumping and other security lapses made headlines for more than a year. A congressional report Levitt co-authored in 2015 found that many Secret Service employees believed legacy employees were given special treatment. Whistleblowers keep coming out of the woodwork because Secret Service management won't just be forthcoming and admit all the ways their agency screwed up. Levitt said in an X.com post Thursday night in response to Hawley's latest whistleblower assertion. Why? It's not in their DNA, and that means we are going to continue to hear from courageous rank-and-file Secret Service whistleblowers day by day, disclosure by disclosure. God bless him for bringing the truth to the American people, he added. Amen. So, we can see here that Mr. What's his name again? Ronald Rowe. He is not being exactly forthcoming in his testimonies. Moving along to my search for the term inside job on X. I started saying this on X to be goofy. Here's your daily reminder, inside job. I get my inspiration from other accounts, namely Cat Turd. If you haven't followed Cat Turd, I suggest you do. He's the turd you can't flush. So I searched inside job on X, and I got a whole deluge of information here. First, from Tony Saruga. The assassination attempt at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th, 2024. FirstNet was responsible for the issues with radio communications and cell service outages that day. Guess who was on the board? And who else would it be other than Merrick B. Garland and Alejandro Mayorkas? I don't like those two guys. They are slimy, I'll say. Very slimy individuals, untrustworthy. They'll stab you in the back. They'll throw you under the bus. All that jazz. And he says, I've been warning about this since 2021. Pay close attention to FirstNet. FirstNet will assure whatever the shadow government and deep state determine to be misinformation or disinformation is unable to propagate the internet, blocking users via their ISP, even at their router, China, as necessary, via IP and even MAC addresses. Guess who was on their board? Interesting enough, FirstNet was also involved in the suppression and deletion of the J6 pipe bomber mobile device data. Now, being a former NSA employee and active duty U.S. Air Force, I can't get behind Edward Snowden. I just can't. He didn't follow the protocols and the whistleblower protections, the protocols that you're supposed to follow. They give us these trainings, I think, once a year, and they tell you these are the proper channels you go through. And if you go outside of these channels, you're going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. While I do agree that the information that Snowden got us was pertinent with monitoring and what do you call it? Surveillance of the citizens. That's important. That gives me 20% sympathy for him, and then all the rest. He stole a bunch of other documents not pertaining to this particular thing that he was trying to whistleblow on. So 80%, I think he has crimes to answer for. That's the best I can give you. So, going back to Inside Job, we got this new video. Well, it was new yesterday. I showed you this yesterday. I don't think you need to see it again. He's obviously up there on the roof. Mike Lee, 15 hours ago. 3.5 minutes pre-shooting. That guy was seen on the roof. 30 seconds pre-shooting. Secret Service learned the observed man was armed and lying down on the roof. After every other error they made that day, they still had time to remove Trump from the stage. And yet, nah, Nah, just let that guy on the roof do his thing. He's not hurting anybody, even though he had a rangefinder, was flying a drone around, and now he's got a gun, a rifle. Maybe it's a fake rifle. Oh, what? You hear shots? Oh, it must be firecrackers or something. Local at 6:11 p.m. Local law enforcement officer reports over the radio that the individual on the roof of the AGR building is armed and laying down. According to FBI Deputy Director Abbott, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, the officer who reports this is the same local police officer who was boosted on the roof. At 6:11, yeah, what? Is that milliseconds? Local law enforcement officer reports to the radio that individual on the roof armed with a long gun. Holy crap. That is milliseconds. A local law enforcement officer reports over the radio that shots have been fired from the AGR building roof. So literally milliseconds after this officer boosted his head up and reported on the radio about him after he fell down, that's when he started opening fire. Am I reading this time right? Is that the 6th hour, 6 p.m., 11 minutes into the 6th hour, and then 33 milliseconds into the 11th minute? I don't know. That's weird. This is like super fast, if that's true. Update to the timeline. I entered into the record during the July 30th Senate hearing with Secret Service and FBI. This is Senator Ron Johnson. Did U.S. Secret Service countersnipers see what Copenhaver's video captured at 6:08 p.m.? That guy moving on AGR's roof. The committee needs to interview the Secret Service countersniper teams ASAP. Yeah, this is important information that the Secret Service needs to answer. Timeline. Law enforcement awareness of that guy on July 13th as of August 1st, 2024. Text in green is media reported information. Text in black is information learned from local law enforcement. Text in blue is from the U.S. Secret Service Agent Director Ronald Rowe's testimony. Text in brown and from Federal Bureau of Investigation Deputy Director Paul Abbott's testimony. And text in red is from Butler County Radio Communications. At 4:26 p.m., per media reports, Beaver County officers first notice and send a text in a group chat about an individual later identified as Crooks. That's media reported information. 5:10 p.m., a local law enforcement sniper positioned in the American Glass Research Building first spots that guy. I said his name already. Damn it. This is impossible. I can't keep doing it, even though I want to. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to say his name anymore. Yeah. That's learned from local law enforcement, that black text. 5:14 p.m., AGA Sniper 1 takes 2 pictures of that guy from local law enforcement. 5:30 p.m., according to Acting Director of the Secret Service, Ronald Rowe, former President Trump arrives at the Butler rally site. That's from Ronald Rowe. 5:32 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 observes that guy looking at his phone and using a rangefinder from local law enforcement. 5:38 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 sends a message to a group of other local law enforcement snipers working the rally about that guy. That's from local law enforcement. Per media reports, AGR Sniper 1 includes the pictures he took of Crooks and a description along with what Crooks was observed using with that guy was observed using a rangefinder in the direction of the stage. 5:40 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 is told to call into command about that guy. And 5:41 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 sends a description of that guy and his use of a rangefinder to command over the radio. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I already followed him. Well, follow Ron Johnson. That man is a gentleman and a scholar. Even the crowd can see a guy running around the roof, but nobody pulls President Trump off of the stage. Unbelievable. It was an inside job. And the idea that it was an inside job doesn't require it to be a grand conspiracy. Like I've said multiple times by now, probably. All it needs is for somebody in a position of authority to remove a valuable a piece off of the chessboard, so that all chaos can ensue. It's just very unlikely that this kid, this 20-year-old kid, was able to be one step ahead of all the well-trained Secret Service agents. And he was the most successful attempt on the life of Donald Trump so far. There have been several other attempts. One in 2016 where a man tried to grab the gun out of a police officer's holster, stating later that he wanted to kill Trump. These people are insane. But I don't know. What do you think? I'd be delighted if you were to comment in the comment section below. Drop me a like. Smash the like button. That's what I should say. Smash that like button. Subscribe and share me with your friends and family. Whatever you do, don't have a bad day. And I'll catch you later. Ciao.